In the kingdom of God, you advance by serving everyone else. In the kingdom of God, your marriage advances by serving your spouse, by serving your wife, by serving your husband. Your family advances by serving your kids, by the kids learning to serve each other and serve their parents. And so, what does it look like? How do we serve one another in our families? I want to share with you just a few practical ways that we serve our families. Well, first of all, husbands and wives, look for ways to meet each other's needs. What does my wife need? Wives, what does your husband need? Look for ways to meet each other's needs. I tell you, we live in a very hectic household. We have a 6-year-old who's learning to read, so she has sounding all the letters out to read, and it takes time. We have a 5-year-old whose mind is like, she's so smart, so it's just like all over the place, and she's asking tons of questions. We have a 3-year-old that knows that she has me wrapped around her pinky, so everything is papi this, papi that. And my favorite thing that she says is, papi yes, mommy no. And then she looks at me, right, papi? And I'm like, that's right, girl, that's right. I hope that stays when she's 15. And those, you dusty son coming around my daughter, I'll be like, you better say papi first. I'm just kidding. And we have a 1-year-old, and the 1-year-old, she has a lot of teeth, so her teeth are coming out, and she's fussy, and so my wife, I look at my wife, and my wife is like trying to listen to the 6-year-old read, and she's like sounding out. I'm all frustrated, just like, what? Like, it's duh, no, it's just duh. Like, let's move on, right? And so and the other one over here is like asking questions about, how are we going to take care of poor people, and then we've got the 3-year-old that's like, that she wants, some type of cartoon on. She wants Bluey. She doesn't want Peppa Pig. And then we've got the baby, and Naeli's carrying the baby and stuff. And then I look, and in the kitchen, throughout the day, like the dishes pile up. They pile up. Last service, I said Julio's not here, so he's not going to be disappointed in his pastor. I hope none of the men are disappointed in their pastor with what I'm about to share, because I'm a red-blooded American. But every once in a while, I'll go to the kitchen and wash the dishes. I wash the dishes. My wife is here as a witness, right? I go start washing the dishes. It's because I don't want to get in trouble like everybody else. So I'm there washing the dishes. They're washing dishes. Sometimes I wash all the dishes. Sometimes I leave like the pots and pans, because Naeli's delicate how she wants to wash those. That's not how you wash them. So sometimes those I leave for her, and she'll come back, hey, you didn't wash the pots and pans. I'll be like, mija, ya te adelanté. Like, I got you ahead in the game, girl. Like, man, I can't run the whole race for you, but at least I got you ahead, like, geez, My man, husbands, how many husbands are here? Any husbands? I want to encourage you. Every once in a while, maybe not every night, but every once in a while, get that sponge, get that dishwasher soap, turn on the hot water, right? Que no te quemes. Wash dishes. Wives, I didn't forget about you. Don't worry, men. I know. All the men of La Iglesia del Pueblo Church should know that I've got your back. Wives, how can you serve your husband? How can you serve your husband? I'm going to tell you that I'm very blessed with Nayeli, because Nayeli has been serving me since day one. This is the day after our wedding.
So here we are, just leaving Galveston on our way back home, and I'm already training her to be a good wife. Hey, my love, what are you doing?
Pumping gas.
All right, I love you.
I love you too.
Watch and learn, gentlemen. Watch and learn.
Su pastor. Ese es su pastor, right? Like that. Watch and learn, gentlemen. Watch and learn. Every once in a while, you got to tell her, babe, it's cold. You take care of it. 3 months before we got married, Naeli told me, I'm going to ask you for one favor. Don't get hurt messing with your horses. I went to go ride one of my horses. I fell. broke my ankle. I mean, broken. Called Nayeli, I'm like, I told her, lo primero que me dijiste no hacer, like the first thing you said not to do. She's like, what? I go, I fell off a desk and I broke my ankle. Broke my leg. I didn't know what broke. I still had my boot on. I'm like, I don't know. I go, broke my leg. She's like, shut up. Like she thought I was playing. The bone shifted, because I mean, it was like a break, like full break. The bone shifted. And I gotta let you go. And I hung up on her, and she knew it was an emergency. She booked it to where I was at. And so that's why the day after our wedding, the day of our wedding, the night of our wedding, someone said, Pastor, can we take a picture with you? And I was like, yeah. And then before we knew it, there was a line. We spent over an hour standing. The Thursday before our wedding was when the doctor took off the boot and said, okay, you can wear regular shoes. So my ankle by the end of the wedding was so swollen, I couldn't even take off my cowboy boots. Like it was so swollen. So the next day, I was like, babe, I need you to start serving, right? Day one, before the honeymoon, you know, allá va Nayeli a ayudar, right? I don't know, what does your husband need? What does your wife need? Let's get you serving. Let's get you meeting those needs. Let's get you helping out. Right? Let's get to building the unity in our marriages instead of sowing in division. It's not all about me. You know, like let's get to it. Okay. Parents, last week I shared at the end of the service that we are modeling for our children. Right? The way I speak to Nayeli, and I felt in this, and I shared last week that we were in the basement, and I was very vulnerable with you. A lot of times I felt with Nayeli on how I speak to her when we have a disagreement. I'm modeling something for my children, and I'm showing them what's right and what's not right, and I'm doing my best to model something before them that when they're getting ready to be married, when they're dating, immediately they can see something. A boy raises their voice, their boyfriend raises their voice, that they could be like, nah, my dad didn't do that to my mom. I'm not going to take this from you. You know, modeling something for them. Well, are you modeling serving for them? Are you teaching them to serve and modeling serving for them? No. I like it, you know, like sometimes the girls are eating. Rebecca's, Dad, I finished eating. I'm like, put your dishes up. She goes, puts up her dishes. And then, you know, but she sees us do the same. So it's easier. She doesn't say, well, you don't. She can't say you don't. Because we're modeling for them that we do. The last thing I want to touch on is siblings, right? Honor each other by extending grace, kindness, and patience to each other. And sometimes the older we get, the harder that becomes. Right? The more distant we become from our siblings. Right? But honor each other, like extend grace, extend kindness, extend patience. If you want to take a picture of this before we move on, but extend grace, extend kindness to each other. This is what serving is about. Serving is about extending grace. It's about extending kindness to each other.